So SLERF against Sol is at a really interesting level now, but again, you can't use this as volume levels. It's just a indication of the variation between the prices where the volume came in. This is what we're looking at now, isn't it? Not this one, this one. And so yesterday I kind of re-looked at SLERF in depth after the daily close, okay? And I've kind of readjusted my wave count actually. And the reason why I've done that, again, with wave counts, it's hard to be 100% correct. You always have to revisit. You can't just kind of say this is it and it's not going to be anything. Like, you have an idea of what it could be, but there are variations depending on what happens next, okay? And so with this, I was playing with two different ideas, and initially I was thinking to myself, maybe this Binance futures launch was a corrective, maybe that was the first ABC, we didn't get an impulse, so it wasn't. Then I toyed with the idea that maybe we had our 5 waves here and we're looking for maybe that was the 5th wave, and you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're looking for another wave, and to make that happen you have to hold this as a higher, as a flip. I toyed with that idea, okay? But I said when I initially was playing with those ideas, in my original analysis, I said for that idea to be correct, you can't close a daily candle underneath here. I don't mind if the wicks cross, I just don't want the dailies to cross. You see here, the wicks can cross, it's fine. The wicks can cross, not a problem. Just don't want the daily to close inside of that level. Yesterday we had a close inside of that level, didn't we? Underneath that level. What that means is that invalidates the idea that one of the ideas that I had 2 ideas, and I had to redraw this. And so I was thinking to myself, maybe maybe this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave 3, and we're still looking for a wave, for an ABC for a wave 5, like that, okay, just to come off this top. But because that idea has been invalidated, you have to assume that this Binance futures launch was the wave 5, and I've marked it in blue here, okay? You just have to assume that that's how it was, even though it was just like one big expansive move, okay? It doesn't look like 5 waves, does it? When you look at it, it doesn't look like 5 waves. It's like, what is that? What is that? In hindsight, you have to look at that and go, okay, it must have been. There's no other choice. We have no other choice. For this to apply with our rules, the Elliott Wave rules, we have to kind of turn this into 5 waves. Maybe there were 5 waves. Looking at it again, maybe that was your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe that was it. Maybe you had 5 kind of straight line waves. And if that is the case, and I talked about this idea too, but I didn't really kind of go into depth, that means we're in this ABC correction, okay? Now, this ABC correction doesn't need to find support at the top there, because you've already completed the first wave. The first wave, which I've mapped out in yellow. Because you've completed the first wave, only the blue 4 has to hold the blue 1, but the yellow 2 doesn't need to hold the blue 1. It's a different wave. It's a different part of the wave. That technically, all this yellow has to do is hold 0 as a higher low. Technically, it can come down as far as it wants. Now, if the top of the 1 was the top of the Binance futures launch, i.e. the end of the blue 5, then we're in a zigzag ABC or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corrective move. No one knows until it happens. If it's an ABC, then this is a 1-to-1 down to here. But right now we've come underneath the 618 and we're back above it. Okay, I think that's a sign of strength. So I've marked out the pivots from there to here to here, and a 618 is here. Yesterday, as we were coming down, we tried to find support at the 618. You see that? Tried to. Then we lost it. Okay, we came into this higher time frame 236, found support on the 236, and now we're back above the 618. So I think this is a sign of strength to reclaim this lost 618. I think if it was continued bearishness to come back up, we should have found resistance to go back, to go down. Yeah, we shouldn't come up to back above a level if we've got continued downside, if we've got continued more downside. Yeah, so I find this to be quite strong that we're back above. We haven't had a clean back test yet, have we? Or maybe we have. Maybe that's a little back test there, not clean. Maybe it's a little front run. I would just like here. I wouldn't have mind if we had a nice clean back test, just like we had here. You see, back test, flip down. I wouldn't mind a clean back test off that level. But you know, we have to see what happens. But I think this is a sign of strength because we're back above the 618. This is kind of where I wanted last night. I was looking, this is kind of, if we lose the 618, guess where we're heading? To the 1-to-1. That's your balanced move. A, B, C, balanced 1-to-1. But if you're finding support on a little fake out of the 618, could it be here? We'll only know once we start seeing the impulse. We'll only know. Yeah, you could argue that we're already impulsing. You could argue that. You could argue that this was your first impulse and we have a little ABC. That's your second impulse, i.e. the wave 3. We're in a little mini wave 3 now. But we'll only know until we see the 5 waves. Once we see the 5 waves, then we can actually say maybe that was the one and we're in a 2 correction for a 3. The first part of the first wave to get us out, because we're going to impulse. That's what we're expecting, an impulsive move to get us out of here. So again, it's quite subjective. I think this, for me, this right now works, and actually I think I'm more bullish on this whole idea, because that means that once this correction is finished, whether it's finished now or whether it finishes by Friday, I don't know, maybe we go up and come back down, I don't know, then what I'll be looking for is a really impulsive move to start our big wave 3, because that means that we've completed one. That means all this time that we've been dropping from 44, 45, 46 cents, we've actually been correcting a wave 2. And once you complete your wave 2, guess what you have? You have the wave 3, and it will be a big wave 3. Okay, because the wave 3 is always the biggest, usually. So that's kind of where I'm at with SLERF. I think it was nice that we held this 236, okay? And I think it's nice that we're coming back above this 618. I don't know if this is impulsive or still corrective, okay? Because it is possible that we're just doing an ABC to do that. That's also possible. It is possible. And it's also possible that we are actually doing some kind of ABC to do that. You know, like there's so many possibilities of what the price can do to get out of this area. But what you do want to see is an impulsive move. Usually when SLERF is impulsing, it leads Solana. Okay, at the moment I'm not quite sure that it's doing that. I'm not quite sure that it's doing that. So I do have reservations about whether we are clear yet, of whether we're out of here yet. Usually with SLERF, when it wants to impulse, you start to see an injection of volume, green volume, and it just starts to go up. And remember, what we're expecting now is a wave 3, so it should be explosive. And so if that was the wave 1, I think that wave 1 was quite explosive here. This is the wave 1. this is the beginning, yeah. And although it did start off kind of nice and slow, nice and gentle, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the injection of volume to the upside, explosive move to the upside. And this should be extremely explosive too, yeah. So I'm not 100% about this, because it could, just looking at the way the price has come down, it could do that, huh? It could totally do that for an explosive move from the 1-to-1. You'd have to lose the 618 again if we're back above it. So that will be our first tell of whether we're actually trying to find support here. If you start losing support, then guess where you're heading for? If you lose that 236 as well, then you're heading for that 1-to-1. And that would be 18.5 cents. Okay. Anyway, this is kind of where we're at now with the Elliott waves. And so looking at the timings as well. So timings is quite important. So it's not, I couldn't find anything concrete with the timings, because usually you can find something that's interesting. Just a 1-to-1 on this move would bring us to Saturday, you know, or you could argue that maybe the 618 was enough and that was your correction. Maybe this is it, maybe a backtest there and we can get out of here like that, and actually then it's just like something like that. Okay, but what you do want to see is an impulsive move, okay, just based on this this corrective A, B, C. Yeah, 1-to-1 is that white line, the 618 is that first yellow line. Okay, the other way you can do it is just ignore the trend and just have it from pivot to pivot to the that doesn't work for me, because it would mean the 618 is on Sunday, and actually I'm thinking we need to get out of this much sooner. We probably need to pump this weekend. It'll take too long, huh? If you have to bottom out on Sunday. I don't think that makes any sense to bottom out on Sunday. So I'm not keen of that timings. I'm actually more keen of just a trend-based pivot based on these pivots. Either we just get out of here now, and I want to see impulsive price action, or we dip again on Friday to find a bottom on Friday. So this is kind of the timings that I have in mind at the moment. And in terms of levels, we've obviously lost the top of that one. So now I'm just playing with the idea that this is the move. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Binance futures launch was the 5, and now we are in a corrective ABC. I didn't, you know, like when it was coming up here, I didn't really think any of this was impulsive. I did say I didn't think it was impulsive. I needed the price to find support at the point of control, and we didn't do that, and then we dropped. Okay, so actually what the price wanted to do was go lower. It's just that it's hard to know until it happens. And now that we're lower, the question is this the low, or do we go lower? I think this could be the low, but I do want to see a clean I want to see a clean hold here of this 618, and then I'll feel a little bit more confident. And then I also want to see some impulsiveness. Yeah, and so it does look like we're forming some kind of rounding bottom here. So maybe it's possible. Maybe we are rounding here. What you want to do is go up and just smash up now, right up to basically to test the top of that 382. That will be the neckline of that kind of little bearish, whether that's a head and shoulders pattern of sorts. Get back up there. Then we have to, again, we have to find continued strength. We have to be really impulsive to get up there. That's kind of where I'm at with SLERF at the moment. If this is the pivot, and so this is the question, not ignoring that we could go down again. I do like to see ABCs. I would like to see an A, a B, and a C, not just straight down and up. And if you do get straight down and up, then what you want to see is a V-shaped recovery. Yeah, because that's the only way that you can get out of here without putting an A, B, and a C, a clear A, B, and C. But like looking at this, is that the A? Where's the B? Where's the C? You know, I'm looking for that. Okay, so I've got that in my mind. That's maybe why we're not kind of going crazy right now. The other thing that I've got in my mind though is, let's just say for the sake of argument, that is the pivot low. That's the low. Maybe it is. And then so you can just do a nice easy trend base fib from the beginning of this 0 yellow to the 1. Let's just say that's where the 2 begins. Okay, and that gives us a 618 target of this pivot high. See where it began there? That's your 618. So that's quite a clean target. And I don't know about the higher target. It's the 1 to, I think a 3 wave would have to go higher, probably to the 1 to 1. Maybe then we back test the golden pocket, and then maybe we can have an extended wave and hit into price discovery. That's not too bad actually, because the 1.618 of this, based on this current pivot, if this is the low, so basically what I'm suggesting, or not suggesting, I'm just saying it's possible, if this is the low here, the one that we just put in, from the yellow 0 to the 1 to the 2, so the 2 is actually here. It's actually here. So maybe if the C actually corrects here or somewhere here, then you can see that the 618 gives us the pivot high of this yellow one, and actually the 1.618 corresponds perfectly with the high there, doesn't it? So there is some nice balance here to these ratios, but this wave 3 has to be expansive. Has to be. This is the big wave, and then the rules, if the rules apply, then the 4 can't come underneath the top of the 1 there. That's how it works. So we want to see 3 impulsive, 2 corrective waves pushing us up to the 1 to 1 at the very least, I think. And then we want to see, at the very least, we want to see the 618 flip into support. That's the top of the yellow one there. And then we'd want to see another wave to expand to take the highs. That's kind of what we want to see now to complete this whole first wave. And I think it probably has to happen very quickly, to be honest with you. I don't think it should take so long. I don't know about this 4, but maybe that, you know, maybe something like that would be nice to experience. Okay, and if we do see that, that will give us a really good vibe, because we can then count the waves all the way up to the top. That would be a big TP. Then again, you'll be looking for an ABC corrective. ABC corrective for the next wave, for the next big wave. And that's, so this actually becomes your whole, this whole thing becomes your 1. Then you have an ABC corrective as a 2. And then you're going to the big 3. That's the mega wave. That's the ginormous wave. So if you think about SLERF, we're still at the beginning, really. If you think about it, we are at the beginning, because at the moment we are in the higher time frame wave 1. Okay, if you contemplate the higher time frame, and so I'd have to just imagine, it's yellow for now, but if you can imagine what did I do there? It's really frustrating me because my mouse is not working. 0 to 1 to 2, and that I can color that in something else now. I can color that in red. Okay, and so actually, if you think about where we are in the red one, the higher time frame 1, and in the yellow we're trying to get a 3, the yellow 3, and we've completed this blue 5 waves, this first 5 waves. That the first blue is completed, and so this one we want to see if we can now do another 5 waves and take us up to a 3. This 3 can actually be a little bit more extended. I'm just kind of being muted with the move here. No one really knows. but actually in a higher time frame, you're looking for, you know, who knows really, but you're looking for something crazy, something a little bit mental. And that's kind of what you're looking for. And if it does, if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, then I don't know. That's what you're looking for. And the other thing you have to bear in mind is once you do hit the 1.618 in 5 waves, if we do that, if we manage to do that, then you've completed your yellow 5 waves. And then this red 2, technically could come all the way back down to here and still be valid. Okay, so you have to bear in mind. So while people often imagine Elliott waves means up only, doesn't always mean up only. It could look really it could look like this, where it comes all the way back down, holds a higher low down here, and then the next wave, the 3, then you have to follow the rules on the red on a different set of waves, so they kind of correspond to each other in the hierarchy of waves. Okay, no one really knows what's going to happen. Like, you can't really predict it, but one thing that you can do is use the previous moves to find confluence higher up for where the price could find significant resistance. And so right now I'm clearly based, if this is the pivot now that we've put in now, if this is it, if this is the pivot, and if this is the end of correction, and it's hard to know just like this, we need to see impulse. I'd like to see now the price to go up like that, to just fill that up and like a really strong green candle pushing the price right up. Yeah, if we see that, then I would say, yeah, the impulse has begun. Yeah, because that's when you know, when the first wave comes in, you have to see increasing volume, higher prices, and you have to see nice big long green candles. Then you imagine that this impulsive wave has begun, and then you'll be counting the waves, and this is the 3 yellow 3, because you've counted the correction, A, B, C correction, after you've counted the first 5 waves, which is the blue waves. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that we came underneath this level here, because it just solidifies our count. It just means that we know now exactly where we are, whereas before we were kind of in between, are we here or are we there, or is it like this or is it like that? Now we kind of know this is where we are. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. This is the correction. Is the correction over? Well, no one really knows exactly when it's over. I think we want to see an impulsive move. You just have to be careful with impulsive moves, because tokens can often feel impulsive and yet they're still corrective. You could always get a situation with any token where it does an ABC like that and it does another ABC like that, you know, so you have a slightly wider, higher time frame corrective pattern. Yeah, and so right now, if we don't impulse in a very strong manner to get to our higher target, I'd say at least the 1-to-1 golden pocket, above the golden pocket 1-to-1. That would be my destination, my target, to be honest with you. That would make sense to me, because you need space to back test. If you come into the golden pocket, then you have to hold the 618 here, which is also possible, but then you're not going for the extendeds. You're kind of going for lower. You're going for a much more kind of, not a higher target. You're going for a low. You won't hit the highs there. You'll be going for a much lower target. Either way, if you do 5 waves, we need to get past that top of the Binance futures high in 5 waves in a very sharp, impulsive manner. Okay, and this is the if. Okay, so this is the bullish idea. The bearish idea is just continued correction, and what you're looking there, and a more bearish correction here, it would feel a little bit impulsive, at least to here, but actually all you're doing is an ABC. It'd be a bit of a prolonged ABC. It'd be quite a prolonged correction, actually. You'd be like, why is SLERF not moving? SLERF is going really slow. What's happening with SLERF? SLERF is boring, whatever. The rest of the market is moving and SLERF is going sideways or nothing. No interest in SLERF. Yeah. Guess what? You're probably correcting. You're probably not in that impulsive move. We have to see. The first part usually is impulsive. Yeah. This first part is usually quite impulsive. Okay. And even the C could be, the B to the C could feel impulsive. And so it kind of fools people, because then they're thinking, okay, maybe we're going to have another 4 and a 5 and hit to higher prices. But really, I think we need this 3 to go up in a pretty much in a straight line, and be very bullish, because it is the 3, and I think it should really push to the 1-to-1. That's my preference, but we have to see, because you're. And then the other thing is, if you're still correcting, then if you are going up like this in an ABC and you are coming into like this higher this 618, you are finding resistance pretty much, and it's taking a long time. Yeah, it's kind of really prolonged. Then you're probably looking for continued correction, and then you'll probably be looking for another move down after you finish that correction there. You're probably looking for whatever, just all the way back down, and so you're looking for more of an extended correction like that, a bigger correction. That would be a more longer term corrective. It just means you're just putting volume here, in this range, still just range bound. Okay, and what that means is actually this yellow 2 wasn't to the 3 there. It actually, what it would mean is that's somewhere there, and then then you can expand from a different time, from a different place. Yeah, so we have to see what happens next. Do we continue going up correctively, or do we start expanding in a bullish impulsive way? All right, so that's kind of SLERF, and we just have to see what happens. And as always, no one knows what's going to happen, like literally no one. Maybe the people at Binance do, maybe he does. Okay, maybe Binance people know what's happening, because maybe they've got this, they're going to launch the spot. Maybe that will be the first wave. If that happens, then we'll know. If the Binance, let's say if tomorrow Binance launches SLERF on spot, then we're probably looking for continuation with more impulsive moves, aren't we? Okay, so let's just see what happens. But this is good news. Yeah, I don't think this is bad news. Anyone who's like looking at SLERF and going, oh my god, what's happening, this is bad news. I was looking yesterday with altcoin dreaming at SLERF on the CVD. Let me just find it. Show bookmarks. Mobile bookmarks. Let me see if I can find it. You can't see it. I'm looking for the bookmarks here. Did I put it in mobile bookmarks? Was it this? Yeah, this was it. We were looking at SLERF. Hello, Nuri Dillon. Hello. Welcome back. Let me just finish this and I'll answer you. So if you just do SLERF on Bybit and change this to a higher time frame, medium time frame maybe, or higher time frame. There's two things we were looking at SLERF together yesterday, and obviously I want to put this in the video, so that's why I'm going over it again. Firstly, it's if you add this aggregated open interest and aggregated volume, okay, so I'm looking at CVD, cumulative delta. So delta is market orders. What you can see is a few things. You can see that over this Binance range, yeah, since it launched on Binance, the CVD, the market selling, has gone down and 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 down. You can see here that the lows here now, especially here, like forget about here where the lows are going lower. Here, since we put in a low, an all-time low in September, specifically September, you can see clearly that the CVD is going down and the lows, you're getting higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. and potentially higher low. So there's a lot of market selling and the price isn't following. This is bullish CVD divergence. This is really bullish. Okay, you can also see that the OI is going up, the open interest is going up, and the CVD is going down. That means that SLERF is being accumulated on open interest, I think. So the selling is being absorbed with increasing open interest. It can also mean that people are shorting it as well. Okay, but the price isn't going down, it's being absorbed. So whatever's happening here, it looks quite bullish to me. And this drop was a liquidation event. Okay, so we had a liquidation event. Last time we had a big liquidation event was here and here. We had like three. We've had three big liquidation events on SLERF. One there, one here, and one here. You can tell because you've got these big daily wicks where it punches the lows. Okay, and every single time you see the open interest drop, so a large amount of longs were liquidated here, longs were liquidated here, not so much because you can't see any change in the open interest, but here you can see a lot of leverage longs were liquidated. Okay, so a lot of longing here, pushing the price up. They were longing, and then they got liquidated. Yeah, thinking that this is the move, got liquidated. But you can see the CVD's gone down, so that's the market selling. The market selling is pushing this down, and you're actually forming higher lows on the price. And so this is actually quite bullish divergence forming on a higher time frame. Eventually this is going to pop and it's going to fly upwards. We're seeing this in a lot of this kind of behavior on a lot of tokens, to be honest with you. So it feels like there's a lot of tokens are being absorbed on leverage, and so all of the selling is being absorbed. So I don't know who's selling. Maybe people have SLERF and they're selling and it's just being absorbed by increasing open interest. That's quite interesting. The other thing that we were looking at as well was the SLERF funding rate. So let me just find it. SLERF funding rate. And basically, oh no, that's not it. It's this one. Basically, we talked about this yesterday. And you can see that yesterday, not today, to be honest with you. Today, the funding rate is neutral. But yesterday on Bybit, or the day before, the last few days, the funding rate has been either neutral or bullish on SLERF. The last time we had it was the 2nd of November. You see that red candle there, that red candle that goes down. And after the 2nd November, when we had that kind of bullish funding rate, if you look at the price action here, after the 2nd November is here, and look what happened to the price. The price just went up. It exploded, didn't it? And so that was the last time we had like bullish funding rate. We had a little red here, but it's on OKX. It's not on Bybit. I'm really focused on Bybit actually, to be honest with you. Here, Bybit is actually bullish, 0.0373. And so we had that here as well. We had, where is it? I think it was yesterday. Slightly bullish, slightly. It's not neutral. Neutral is 0.01, so slightly bullish. On Binance, it's bullish. So there's a few reds here. And then the time before when it was red, it was here. It was in October. Let me zoom this out a bit. This is it. This is before. This is when it was neutral again. This was back in September. You see when you've got this bullish funding. The 7th of September. Go back to the 7th of September. It's kind of here. Look, it was the lows. See that? So you're getting this kind of bullish funding rate, and it actually was giving you the lows. So potentially we are at the lows now, just looking at these kind of different indicators and seeing that the funding rate was flushed, and we went into bullish funding rate. Now it's neutral. So there's a few things that we're looking at which might give us an idea that we're actually potentially trying to find a low here to go up. And so naturally the thing that has to happen with SLERF next is we want to see an impulsive move. That clearly needs to happen with increasing volume. We need to flip the 618 into support. That needs to happen. We need to take out that top of that B. And ideally, that if this is going to be impulsive, it has to be a V-shaped recovery, really. We have to take out the top of that B with a V-shaped recovery, really. If this is what we're expecting, okay? I want to see a V-shaped recovery. I don't want to see a slow grind up here. I want to see a nice impulsive V. Let's take us up, take out that B, and then let's let that be the first wave, if that's going to happen now. Let's just have a look at the volume as well to see so we do have to contend with the point of control, but we didn't really, it didn't, I mean, it did maybe a little bit, but I don't really feel like it found big support there. We certainly didn't backtest it. You see how we didn't really backtest the point of control? We just went through it. So just from my experience, when that happens, it's every chance we're just going to go right through it. Just because we've gone through it down, there's every chance as we go up, we're just going to go right through it. So while people might think this is a good place to find resistance, if we start going up now, I think it's more likely than not we'll just smash through it because we didn't get a back test there. Okay, that's kind of my thoughts on that. And so I'm not really looking at the point of control now as major resistance, even though it's there. But just because we never got a back test, there was no confirmation that this is resistance. We just had a liquidation, no back test. So I think as we go up, we'll probably smash through it. So probably our next kind of big resistance on the way up will be the 382, and we have to get through to put in a higher high here and take out that B. Yeah, we certainly don't want to find ourselves in a situation where we put a lower high there for a corrective pattern that actually ends up like this. You know, we don't want to do that. Okay, so that's not going to look good, because that probably could mean that we're still correcting and we just want to keep on going down. Aggregated funding, did I not do that? Oh, aggregated funding. Oh, yeah, I didn't. Aggregated funding. Oh, that's good. Oh, look, the funding rate has gone red, bullish. Look at that. Look at that crazy bearish. All of this is bearish, and now it's right back to bullish, and now it's neutral. And so the last time it was reset there, that was when we were correcting. And then here you can see, this is nicer. Thanks, mate. They like flashes. Look at this. When it goes red here, it's like flashes where it kind of indicates some kind of low. That's not correct. But here, look, again, same thing here. Look, this flash. So after we get this kind of crazy bearish funding, now we're back to neutral, back to bullish, and now we're back to neutral. So really, it's really healthy for the price action, to be honest with you. So now big players can start leveraging and pushing the price up again, because the funding rate is, at the moment, it's neutral, and hopefully it's gonna push the price up. I'm kind of accumulating on perps as well, so I'm kind of one of those crowd. That's kind of my SLERF update. Ali Hash, I hope that's kind of explained it a little bit. That's kind of where we're at, and then we'll just keep on following it and seeing what happens next. Okay, let's kind of just quickly jump into Bitcoin, because the CPI is printed. Again, I apologize. I'm not. No one's perfect. No one knows. No one can get it 100% right. Yeah. So I have an idea, and I have many ideas, and I'm just offering one or two. Sometimes I'm like accurate to the dot, and sometimes I'm like, I have no idea. Like, remember when SLERF was kind of going up, and I was like, I don't really know what's happening. Remember I said that? I didn't really know what was happening. I felt like it was still corrective, but it was just weird, you know, when it was kind of going up. I didn't really think it was impulsing, so it was hard to know. And if it wanted to impulse, we needed to find support at the point of control, which we obviously didn't, you know. So I hope I'm on point here now. I hope. Bitcoin is smashing higher and higher and higher. This is exciting because this is good for crypto, huh? This is good for crypto. It's good for my longs. My longs. It's good for my spread bets. Let me have a look at my spread bets while I'm looking at my spread bets. Yeah, not too bad. So let's see. This is looking quite impulsive, huh? Little flat correction here, and then ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 3, maybe a 3 for a 5 up there. There's a point of control here. Have we passed it already? Yeah, we have. We've passed the point of control. Look, little back test there. Are we above the VWAP? We haven't back tested the VWAP. We're just steaming ahead, huh? It's looking really bullish, huh? We had our V-shaped recovery. We're probably going to come for a back test on this point, another back test. Whatever happens, I think it's likely that we do come back for a test. And that's probably where altcoins are going to really pump, when Bitcoin finds support. Because right now Bitcoin isn't finding support, is it? It's just going up. Yeah. And that's part of the reason why some altcoins will rally. But when Bitcoin, altcoins do really well where Bitcoin finds support, like really finds support. So you could argue, well, Bitcoin found support yesterday, but yesterday the market was in a state of, somewhat in a state of shock or disbelief or fear for continuation to the downside. Now people are going, okay, this is, we've put in the bottom, or the bottom's in, and now people are thinking we just need now Bitcoin to back test some kind of higher level support, and then that's when the altcoins will start pumping, because that's when Bitcoin shows strength, when it can find, so I mean, showing strength now. Look at it. But you want a back test, you want like a real kind of test, don't you? That's what